Schools, ISD 701 to order. It's June 18th, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. Daylight savings time, excuse me. And I'd like to welcome everybody here. And one announcement that Director Polcher won't be here, so the the clerk today will be Director Kim. With that, we'll move to item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you wish. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 3, public comments. Superintendent Rick.
I believe we have none, Mr. Chair. Correct, we have no public comment today.
Okay, we'll move to item 4. I'll talk slower so you can say.
Thank you for that.
They're all administrative services reports. Administrative reports. Directors?
I'll comment on director's reports. I don't think we've had a meeting since commencement. So graduation was Friday, June 6th. It was beautiful, like always, and thank you to Carrie Fox. I know she puts in a ton of time. The speakers were amazing. And then Thursday, June 12th, I don't know if anybody else participated, but there was an excellent MSBA legislative update, so that was very helpful. And then I guess just last, I'd like to just comment and acknowledge longtime board director, Dr. Tony Kuznick. He passed away this winter, served on the Hibbing School Board for a number of years, and I believe his celebration of life will be coming up, but I know he served this school and took great pride in it, so.
As well as working at the college.
As well as working at the college, and a multitude of things.
Yes, thank you. With that, anything else from directors? Hearing none, we'll go to item B, administrators and staff. Superintendent Rick.
Yep, we have Mr. Bestel and Mrs. McDonald. Looks like Mr. Bestel's going to go first.
She's going to let me go first because she's got a lot more stuff than I have. I just first wanted to thank the board, truly from all my staff, for giving us that extra day without students. It was chaos, but it was really controlled chaos, and Tyler's crew that came over to help was just phenomenal, just like they were the year before. We did get everything moved. I'll show you a few pictures here just to kind of highlight some things. And right now we're still obviously in the somewhat of the destruction phase, but they are starting to do some construction too. We do have about 20 some classrooms that are literally all in our gym right now, stacked up 15 to 20 feet high. So it was an interesting project, and it's been kind of really cool to be a part of it. Really looking forward to seeing what this comes to in August, and hopefully it's August. So what you see here is just a picture of the main hallway going up the ramp. You can see that the doorways, they're starting to put like a frame around the outside. We're going to have a little bit more aesthetics there where they're going to pull some things out. In this hallway too, and also in the second grade hallway, this is the third grade hallway, they're going to have cubbies all along each side for the students. So that'll be, I'm sure, one of the last things they do. This is a better picture maybe of what they're going to do with the doorways and how they're going to pull them out and have a little boxed-in area there. It'll be a different color for each grade level, as well as the hallways. So again, pretty nice stuff. This is in one of the rooms. Obviously, they don't use wood anymore. It's all framed with aluminum, but that's where they'll cover everything up. You can kind of see behind there how things were dated. That definitely is going back to the 1950s and 60s pretty quickly. So Mr. Aldrich did say we might want to hold all that stuff for another 3 years because it's probably going to come back, but we're going a different road.
The colors I meant.
Oh, okay, all right. This is just another picture of the walls. This area was where, if you look at the bottom right, I can kind of zoom in down here. You see this, oops, that was right, bottom right there. That's where the brick wall was. So in these rooms, a lot of these rooms had a brick wall, and it separated where our coat racks were from our room, and it took up a lot of space. So now with a little bit of increased class sizes, obviously third grade coming in, a little bigger kids, that's going to open up a lot of space for us. So we're really excited about that. Some of the rooms did have that already done, so they kind of got a look at how that was. This is our gym. As you can see, it's pretty impressive what they fit in there and how they fit it in there. This is the outside of some of the rooms that they've now taken out. They're going to kind of reconstruct those whole areas. This is in one of the special ed rooms, there used to be a partial wall that came out from the middle of that blue wall came out, and there was kind of two separate areas. They're going to now make that one area, and it's going to be more of like a private area, so kids in the special ed room, if they need to go in a quiet area, there's going to be an area right in the room for them. We had one previously across the hall, but this will allow our teachers to have a much better control and be able to have those kids that can take a little break and get back, and also then obviously still have the students in class right there. This is the cafeteria. Basically, again, working to get everything out of there. They started in this actually before we left school. The teachers left school, they were already working on that. And I believe that's it. So anyways, go ahead.
I can attest all that. I was there the first day when it opened. I'm not going to tell you in 1955. Memories.
Yeah. And it was, they did find, I did get a text message from, who's the head of it? Paul Chuck. And he had, there was somebody had written on there that he tore off a piece of the wall, and somebody had written Greenhaven 1965 maybe. So that was pretty neat. He said the things you find when you start doing some of that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking, not going to lie about that. I know a lot of people are, we're hoping every day it gets a little further, but I'm very pleased with what I saw actually already. Just to see those walls starting to come up, it's going in the right direction now instead of seeing everything just torn apart. So, anyways, that's a whole other picture there. But all right, and if you have any questions or if you ever do want to swing in, let me know. I mean, I'd be happy to show everybody, but I think the final product is going to be something that obviously we'll celebrate and make sure we get over there and take a look at it. So,
when is it expected to be completed? I mean, obviously not in school, but when?
What we're shooting for, at least from what I understand, is that we'd like to see it around August 15th, because if you know elementary teachers, they want to get in there as soon as possible. And so if everything works out perfectly and we can get it done like maybe that week before we start or so, then we'll be golden. Then it'll be perfect. So
Tyler did say no delay on material so far. Everything we ordered is here coming. And usually that's not the case. Usually it's like, oh, we got to wait on something. It's back ordered. So it sounded like everything was coming.
And they have had a crew there. I mean, there are days where there are 30 guys running around there. So it's pretty impressive. So. Yeah, anyways, thank you, and again, thanks for that day. It did mean a lot to the staff and calmed their nerves a bit, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to say I'm a little bit jealous because I was the one that really pushed Tyler to do a remodel at the Greenhaven, but everything would have been pink, so.
We used to tease Carrie about the size of her office, but I don't tease her anymore because it's really nice. So.
Okay, well thank you for having me today. I am going to kind of give you an update of all things teaching and learning for the last school year and kind of a brief introduction to what next year is going to look like. So I'm going to start out with Career Academy. We were working under several grants this year with the Career Academy. This is our final year of our Youth Skills Training Grant, and so we were able to make several purchases in the areas of engineering, auto, welding, utilizing that Youth Skills Training Grant. We also have received the United Way Building Movement Grant in healthcare. We were actually able to hold on to those funds going into next school year. And really we've got some things in motion for next school year that we're going to be able to utilize those funds for. So we still have that $10,000 grant that we're excited to spend next school year. Several of our staff applied for $5,000 mini grants. And so Carl did a grant based off of his intro to engineering course. And then Alex, Sean, and AJ did 3 different grants to create a prototype for a sauna, and it's an amazing project. You have an opportunity to take a look at that. I worked a lot this year with our career and technical ed teachers and Alex on trying to really maximize our career and technical ed funding. And so several teachers obtained licensure and program approval for different courses that they're teaching. And every time that happens, we get to recoup 35% of their salary for the courses that they teach. And so Alex and I actually just entered the levy amounts in for next year, and we're excited that we should hope to see a pretty big increase in the amount of funds that we're going to be able to claim for next school year. As I have a couple handouts for you, and one of them is a handout that is all of our Career Academy field trips, listing the field trip, the place, the date, how many students went, and then how many adults were present as well. So as you can see, we had a lot of awesome experiences for our students off campus. On the other side, there is a list of all of the guest speakers that we had in our college and career readiness class and in our intro to healthcare class. And it was just awesome to be able to get all of these people into our classrooms and connect with our students and have students start to think about what they want to do post-graduation. So huge thank you to our community that supported this. And Carrie Fox, this document is all Carrie Fox. Like, she was absolutely amazing at reaching out, getting the people scheduled, making sure that they were here, and she welcomed them when they came. She organized all of our field trips. She went on site with the students several times because maybe a teacher couldn't go or I wasn't able to go. So huge kudos to everything that she has done to make all of these opportunities available to our kids. Looking into next year, we are going to bring back the CNA course. Yay. Super excited. We are also adding an EMR/CPR class. So we have two classes that we are partnering with the college. The college, we actually received some funding so that the college is going to provide the instructor for us on site at minimal SITS cost to the school. So it's a really awesome opportunity in a time where we're, having to reduce electives and things like that based on financials, and this was an opportunity for us to be able to be cost effective and offer two new opportunities to our students. So we're very excited about those two. Kids can take the course for non-SITS credit, so they don't have to take it for the SITS, but they do have the opportunity to do that. And we have some kids that are looking at the EMR CPR class that may be interested in education, but they want to get that medical responder and basic life support certification now. So that's exciting. We're adding personal finance next year. We are not yet having it as a requirement because it's not a requirement until this year's 9th graders are seniors. But we are offering 2 sections of it as an elective, and I'm excited about that. Carrie Fox and I have also been working with the Chamber to offer an entrepreneurship program next year. And what that's going to look like is once or twice a month, we're going to have community experts come in, and they're going to teach the students about entrepreneurship and provide a curriculum for them. So it's an opportunity for them to learn and have a business course, even though we're not able to provide a business teacher at this time. So we're really excited about being able to partner with the Chamber in that and bringing people in to share their experiences. All right, moving on. We had a lot of initiatives in professional development this year. And again, I heard over and over again from lots of various schools that they were so jealous of how Hibbing allowed their teachers the time during the school day to do the READ-ACT training. And I applaud you for making that decision to have those in-service days. It not only benefited the 108 staff that went through the READ-ACT training, but all the other staff had targeted professional development that we have not had an opportunity to provide our staff in many, many years. So this is kind of just a list of all of the professional development that we did provide. We had a new math curriculum, and we'll be working on that again this year. Our high school staff spent several in-service days going over the standards in their curricular area, and then also articulating their course and where the standards fit within that. We added to that, looking at for each of the courses that were articulated, what college and career readiness domains and competencies they are teaching in that course, because really we want all of our courses to make kids college and career ready. And so having them take a look at those competencies and saying, okay, in a world geography class, what kind of college and career readiness domains can I implement in my course? So team effort there. We are going to launch personal learning plans next year. So every student, 9th grade and up, will have a personal learning plan that will guide their instruction, and it'll allow a greater deal of communication between our staff and our counselors and our administration and students and parents about what their path looks like in high school. And that path doesn't have to be set as a freshman in high school. So they may, as a freshman in high school, have taken an intro to healthcare class and thought that they were going to go into medicine, and then they decide, nope, sophomore year, I don't think I'm doing that, I'm going into the trades. So the plan allows flexibility, but for it to be documented in a way that parents can access these plans, students, and then staff. SAVERS is a social emotional learning assessment that we just started to take a look at, because we know that students have very strong needs in social emotional areas, and so assessing those needs and being able to provide interventions for those students is important as well. All of our high school staff went to see Mark Pernu, a speaker, in November, and he wrote the book Answering the Why, Unleashing Passion, Purpose, and Performance in Younger Generations. So how do I reach my Gen Z son and daughter is what the answers to those questions are supposed to be in this book. So I did bring 3 copies if any board members want to borrow the book to read. It's very good, and it really made us as educators through the presentation think about how we reach students in today's classrooms, because students are not just going to sit there and conform anymore. They need to understand the why behind what they're doing. That's how they're driven. They are not driven because their parents tell them to do something or teachers tell them to do something. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that their brains are wired now that they're so used to instant gratification on the electronics. But this book is very interesting, and that speaker, I had lots of very veteran staff stop me after and say, this was really good. And I was like, that's awesome. We did some exploration of SEL programs, and then we had a speaker come in and do a training on childhood protective factors and computer science. And that goes back to, I don't know if you're familiar with ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences, but not just focusing on those adverse childhood experiences, but what are the protective factors that support students that have the ACEs? So we know that we have a lot of trauma in our community and with students in our school district. How do we help them to mitigate that? And so this training had to do with that. Moving forward to next year, we're going to focus again on multi-tiered systems of support. We are building in a block of time at the Washington, Greenhaven, and the Lincoln in the schedule that will be an MTSS hour. And that is supposed to be a block of time where kids are getting what they need at their level. And for some kids, that's going to be enrichment. We need our kids that need to be challenged. We need our kids that are below grade level to be able to have those interventions. And those kids that are at grade level to get experiences as well. So I'm excited about this. It's going to be something different. There's going to be a learning curve, but I think it's going to be what's best for students, and I think the staff, once they are more comfortable with it, will feel a lot better. We'll continue with the district leadership team. We are revamping our teacher evaluation plan over the summer, and we've got a team of, I think, 10 admin and teachers that are taking a look at that. There's a new statute that requires some changes, and so we are working on that over the summer. We also have a literacy subcommittee that's putting together a literacy framework, and so what we're doing there is we had 108 staff members that were trained on the READACT training on structured literacy. How do we put that in practice and ensure that kids are getting the same thing in all the 3rd grade classrooms, all the 4th grade classrooms, and having that consistency? And the resources that we're using are consistent. So we've got a team of teachers and admin that'll be working on that over the summer, and we're really excited to launch that in the fall. We'll continue our work on the new math standards and having high school staff look at standards and continuing to articulate those courses. We'll look at instructional practices. Again, how do we reach Gen Z? Because it can't just be stand and deliver anymore. Some of the other initiatives and committees we have is digital learning. Joel Anderson and I are heading up that committee where we're taking a look at all of the apps that we use, paid and non-paid apps, making sure that student privacy laws are taken into account and that we're supporting. Instead of having 15 different quiz apps that parents have to learn, let's try to have a district-approved quiz app that parents can learn, students can learn, and then they don't have to learn 15 different ones. But again, this is all facilitated work with the teachers, so it's not like the district is being top down and handing down and saying, this is the app you're going to use. It's the teachers are coming up with these decisions and we're moving them forward. Mental health and social emotional learning we'll continue to work on. Assessments, we are continuing our FastBridge work. The state threw us a curveball and said that we have to do a new assessment called CAPD, another unfunded mandate. And so I submitted our literacy plan Sunday night, and it included us giving this CAPD assessment to the very lowest scoring students in 4th through 12th grade on literacy, and that was the requirement of the state. I did not feel it was good timing for us to go all in on CAPD for all 4th through 12th grade students because I just got staff trained on FastBridge and buying into the FastBridge testing, the FastBridge reports, the interventions that it provides. So to completely switch the system when the state isn't even actually providing training on CAPD until mid-September, we thought we would just stick with FastBridge and dip our toes into CAPD. We'll continue the college and career readiness domains and the personal learning plans. And with that, I just want to say that I really thank you for your continued support of all of these initiatives. I am excited and confident, even though that we've been through a very difficult year, that we're going to be able to provide a top quality education for our students at Hibbing. And our staff are going to continue to be supported and trained to have the best teachers that we can in front of students and support our staff and then the students having great experiences. Thank you. Any questions?
Carrie, I agree with you. Even though we've been through a lot, I think that we're going to find top quality education in Hibbing. So I hope anybody that's thinking about coming to Hibbing or concerned about 4-day school weeks and learning loss considers and comes and visits our school. But with that, I think we had a crisis response team, and I don't know if that's the right name, but I think that Principal Sikora sort of led that charge, and I'm just worried, and I hope we're going to continue that, and I just want to make sure that we do, because I think with the focus on mental health and what we have going on, that I think that was a really good preventive measure before things got too far, so I hope we're going to continue that.
And I think all of the schools have, I mean, I think different schools call it different things, but all of the schools have like a child study team that takes a look at students that they're concerned about, whether it be mental health or academics or behaviors, those kinds of things. So every school, and that's part of our MTSS system.
Right.
So yeah, we will definitely be continuing that work. We actually, up at our training this week, our admin team talked about updating our crisis plan, and then the co-op is offering a regional crisis response team. I was one of the members that got trained to be a part of that team, so this is a regional team if there's a crisis that we can call in to help support our district on site, and so we talked about including that in our plan as well.
And you know, maybe I'm using the wrong words, but when Renee would describe if a teacher or somebody noticed there was just something not right with a student, that she would call a group together. That's the group I'm talking about. Is that, we're on the same page?
Yep, we're on the
Okay.
same page,
Okay.
and each school has that.
Okay, perfect.
It could be a deaf family, sometimes, you know, a lot of times that happens over the summer,
Yeah,
right? And that team usually does a lot of work in the summer also, because you kind of forget about that time, but the
yeah.
events that happen, they have a lasting effect
Right.
with all of our kids, so.
Super, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonald. Thank you, Mr. Resco.
Any more?
No, sir.
Item C, committee reports, anything? Hearing none, we'll move to item 5, motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Moved by Director Sarah, support by Director Kim. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. That will move to item 6, motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion. So moved. Support.
Motion by Director Christine, supported by Director Kim. Any discussion?
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
There were a couple of resignations of special ed teachers. Are those going to be replaced?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so that's not part of our reduction
Nope,
plan?
nope.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. With that, we'll move to item 7, administrative business. Sir Alex,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
you're welcome.
Item A is a motion to approve the resolutions for donations, and they consist of $1,914.82 from the Track Booster Club to support the rental of the UWS field house, $100 from Iron Range Plumbing and Heating to support the Industrial Arts Barbecue, $40 from Brian Palazzolo to support the Industrial Arts Barbecue, $1,200 from the Hibbing AAUW to support Youth in Action, $150 from Lee and Laura Johnson to support the drama program, $500 from Splash Express to support the athletic department, $1,500 from Fairview to support Safety Town, $100 from Sterling Company to support Safety Town, and $50 from Sammy's to support Safety Town.
I support.
Moved by Director Marty, supported by Director Christine. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Go
Chair,
ahead.
we have on the donations, the $1,914.83 from the Track Booster Club to support the UWS Field House. Will we be getting a recap of the donations from the other booster clubs that supported our programs this year, just so we have an idea? And will those be on a resolution to accept those gifts?
Yeah, I think that's something maybe Mr. Pleas and I can work on. Look back, and we can probably do that at the next meeting.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we here? Go ahead.
I think you need a vote. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm just gonna vote.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you. Item B is a motion to approve option 2 for property liability, auto, workers' compensation, and cyber insurance renewal effective July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 as presented.
So motion. Support.
Motion made by Director Christine, supported by Director Kim. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well,
Chair,
discussion.
which option are we going to select?
Option 2. We know it's a little bit more, but we have had a better experience with that work comp company.
Okay.
And we'll also be opting for the increased cyber coverage at the bottom there, for the $1 million coverage.
So this is almost $55,000 over last year. Do we have that increase built into our budget? Or will we have that increase built into our
We will
budget?
have it put in.
Okay, perfect. And I feel like it's one of those things that an inflationary increase that we need our insurance, but
Alex and I met with our agent, trying to find ways to bring these rates down, and I mean, our deductible is already very high. We raised it last year. I threw out again, what if we had a $100,000 deductible instead of a $50,000 deductible, could we bring our rates down? And the answer is no. With our historic status, this is probably the best deal that we're going to get. And it brings up a question, I don't even know, I'm just throw this out to you. I mean, if you don't want me to pursue it for any means, I won't, but the historic status. What if we were to say that we no longer want the historic status at the Hibbing High School? I mean, I understand the privilege, I understand all that came with it, the history, but it's getting to be such a burden with just day-to-day operations and bills that they, in this quote, they almost said no to our auditorium. They almost had nobody cover our auditorium. They would have covered our other sites and buildings, but because of that replacement value in the auditorium, the horsehair in the walls, the craftsman that it would take, the painting, it's not like you put drywall up when you're done, right? It would be such an extensive repair if there was a fire or something happened. So it just a thought. I don't even know what that means. I don't know if you can peel back a historic status. I don't even know how that works, but do you think we would we get beaten up on that? Would that be a bad thing to even pursue? I mean, what are your thoughts?
can we? Can we not? Can we opt out?
I'd have, yeah, that's why I want to dig and ask the questions, I guess, to see if it's even a.
They should be able to tell you at least the direction which we go in.
I mean, again, I think you made a commitment to, you're not trying to change the outer facade of our building. That's not, wouldn't be the intent, but just even our construction projects, anytime that we have something, we have a choice, right? Can we do it in an effective way that still looks aesthetically pleasing, or do you have to match the work that's there? We have to match the work that's there 9 times out of 10. So just a thought. I don't know if it's a
I
possibility.
feel like
But
it would have to be approved through the historic society and not just us.
I'm sure we'd have to ask.
The state,
We'd have to
yeah.
ask permission maybe to pull back, is what I'm guessing, if that's,
Well, we can't afford it. Give us some money. We can't afford it.
It
just
doesn't hurt to ask the
Okay,
question.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
and
just
then
never know how
at
the
least we
community
know.
might respond, right? I just wanted to make sure that, we're kind of, at least heard what I was asking before I start digging a little bit, but.
It's like dropping insurance on a vehicle, next day you get in an accident. Poof, you're-
Yes, yes.
So just like the director of the party says, it doesn't hurt to ask a question.
I will.
There was a big process to get registered
Yes.
like that in the first place, so no.
And I respect that. It's not, I know how the community rallied around that and how it was such a sense of pride. It's still a sense of pride. I'm just saying that it's getting to the point where it's just not cost effective.
And it kind of handcuffs you.
Yes,
Yeah.
big time, big time.
Well, the other question, the auditorium is truly irreplaceable, right?
Right.
So whether you're on the historic registry or not, if something happened in that auditorium, no matter what level you were insured to, could you even replace it? I mean, right, like, how would you replace the chandeliers and I don't know if you could.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
It's not original, so.
Factories alone are not,
they're not,
they're
Right.
not optimal.
can't hurt asking.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you.
Item C is a motion to approve membership in the Minnesota School Board Association and policy services renewal for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and to authorize the superintendent to pay dues in the amount of $7,995.
So moved.
I support.
Director, motion by Director Kim, supported by Director Christine. Any further discussion?
So what do we get with this? I mean, I feel like you can go to the MSBA time. I mean,
Yeah, well,
regardless
it's,
if you're a member or not.
well, there's a membership, like another level of service that like I'll get, Katrina will get. Like policy work, like, you know, they'll redline policies for us before they come for approval. Lobbying work that they do, the help with negotiations, there's a whole, and if you should probably have that access though, don't you have, when you log in to?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you might have that, and you dig in a little bit deeper, like Trina uses it for a lot of our projects.
I've only gone in there, you know, probably a handful of times, I mean, so I don't go in there very often. I mean, I utilize probably the people more than anything.
Yep. Yep.
But I feel like I utilized them even before I was a board member, reached out and they responded, so that's why I was, I mean,
I think they're probably good people and they'll answer your questions. And I think if they're like a project, like sometimes, I probably had Gary Lee work on 2 or 3 more extensive things for me this year, just like things to help you, like to prepare. And it's not just a yes or no, he's putting in some work. So
as long as we're truly getting something out of this.
we are,
I mean,
we are.
that's
It's,
fine.
yeah. And it's probably more about the procedural, the checking the boxes, as a school district, and it's probably like more on Trina's side, policy things and that, but yes, it's pretty necessary.
And even the training, I feel like the meeting that we had was more like a training session, and I don't know if we got charged over and above for that, but.
No, that's part of the service, and we could have, you know, any topic, anything that you would want any further information on, they're willing to do that and help us out. And plus just they answer a lot of questions for us that take a little bit of digging that we don't have the knowledge for. It's a good service, it truly is.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you.
Item D is a motion to approve the agreement between ISD number 701 and Soliant Health for deaf, hard of hearing teacher for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Director Kim, supported by Director Gabarty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you.
Item E is a motion to approve the professional services agreement between ISD number 701 and North Homes for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
Make the motion.
Support.
Motion made by Director Christine, seconded by Director Kim. Any discussion?
No, isn't this now where we're not going to be billed by North Homes?
Yes,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because when I was reading through it.
yes. Yeah, and it doesn't just spell it out and say it's at zero cost, because they leave some other options in there that if we want some other services, then we can initiate it and we'll be billed.
Okay,
But we're expecting going from about 200,000 this year in costs to zero. So, a good partner. They've been a very good partner to work with, so thank you. Thank you, Northern.
And there sure seems to be, you know, I want to make sure it's clear, because I know I've gotten calls over the last couple of months where people are questioning, I guess, the amount of money that we're putting into social, emotional, behavioral health. And so one of the things I was able to do is talk about this contract reduction in cost to the district, but there are many wonderful services in here. So I think that's important for our community to know that we're going to be able to continue to provide this excellent level of support for our students at no cost to the district.
And I believe they'll add 1, if not 2 more staff members to their employees here for next year, again, at no additional cost. So that's, our counseling pool will go up next year also. So.
All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you.
Chair, can I just add one thing onto that? And mostly so the community knows, in reading this contract, it also looks like they are looking at venues to continue to provide the supports to the students over the summer as well. So I think that really, that continuity of care and services for the young students is really important in the summer.
Motion carried.
Item F is motion to approve the purchase of services agreement between ISD number 701 and Gail Roselle for vision impaired services for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Director Sarah, seconded by Chair Berklich. Take the pressure off you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item G is a motion to approve the Region 3 Low Incident Services Agreement between ISD number 701 and ISD number 6070 for educational audiologist services for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
So moved.
I support.
Moved by Director Kim, supported by Director Christine. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 8, discussion items. Turn it over to Superintendent Rick.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. Our first item is just a referendum update, and again, just remind the board that I'm just going to keep this as a running item on our agenda for each meeting up until November, when we actually have a vote. And just, again, just give an opportunity, if you're hearing anything good, bad, I think we should talk about it, and just so we can address it. And personally, the conversations I've had have been positive. I mean, I haven't had a ton. I mean, but I try to everybody I talk to that I haven't, already ran into multiple times. Again, I talk about a referendum a little bit, and they've all been positive conversations. People have questions, and people are definitely concerned about taxes, just overall. But again, it's been pretty positive responses to the people I've talked to.
Same here. Okay, item B.
Item B, I was hoping we could just have a conversation about collaboration, where we're at with Chisholm. I can give you maybe a little bit of background of some recent stuff that we've met on. I know Chair Berklich had received a call from Braha, one of their board members. I think Director Gabardi had maybe received a call from one of their board members. I received a call from the AD board members. I think what Chisholm is looking for is they're looking for us to maybe ask them to collaborate at a higher level, or to work together, or somehow to come together. I think that's kind of the conversation. What I heard is like, please ask to meet. I think is that what you heard from Board Chair Raha? I don't want to misspeak.
He's not the chair anymore.
Oh, excuse me, member. I apologize. Yes.
No apology necessary. I accept anyhow. I'm getting mixed emotions from different people on that, so I don't know what exactly they're looking for.
Well, I think the communication is very poor.
Yeah, that's what
I mean,
I'm saying.
I think that's where we really need to clean it up to start with and make sure that everybody's on the same page, not just Hibbing members with Chisholm members, but I think Hibbing members, even as Hibbing members, even between our own group, communication needs to be worked on and improved. But for sure, I know in my conversations with the Chisholm board member for several times, that yeah, I think they do, from what I heard, they would like to meet, but when it came to having that discussion in their board meeting about, what was it, taking over swimming and soccer?
Soccer was the only thing discussed.
That it wasn't a hard no if you watch their board meeting, but it was that they wanted more information on what would this look like, what does this mean, this is coming up very quickly, so because we are not going to be able to really do this like right now, have everything in order by the time the season starts, what does this look like until we can get that up and running if that's voted on. But they also wanted us to, as a Hibbing board, officially vote on it to be giving them that go ahead. So I think, again, that communication of what's what and what they're asking for, who said this, who feels that way, I think that's why they want both boards to come together, because we can just put everything on the table. We can be very upfront, we can be very honest. Then it's not what I said, what you said, what she said, what they said. It's everybody hears it as one big group and we can discuss things, because it sounds like things just get translated very differently depending on who hears it.
Mr. Please, would you like to step forward and make a comment and see what you know that can help us out here?
Would I like to?
And so
Yes, certainly.
So the camera can hear.
Oh yeah, I was gonna hide still behind, but yeah, I think I'm with
Come over
Director.
here then.
What's that?
I said, then you come over here.
No. I echo Director Gabarty's thoughts on this. Working with Travis Bakke, their activities director, I'm getting a different message than say watching some of their school board meetings. So maybe us all coming together in the room together is the best next step for this. I agree, soccer, it wasn't meant to just flip it on them this fall and walk away. We are already in a co-op with them. We're looking at ways to cut costs. If it's cheaper that they take the lead on this, that was that whole exploratory conversation. And I've had far too many meetings and put out too many fires about please is cutting soccer, or are we even going to have a soccer program this year? That was never on the table. We are moving forward with our soccer team, whether Chisholm wants to take the lead or not. We hired a girls coach. I admitted it was a little late, but we were kind of feeling everything out, and I didn't even realize they didn't have a actual regulation soccer field over there. So yeah, I agree. This is too fast. We should evaluate this stuff. I know my swim coach has called their boys swim coach, and they are excited to perhaps pursue a cooperative, but they've got to pump the brakes because it's got to start, I think, here at this level first. So I'm looking for basically direction. Do we want to pursue this kind of stuff, or are we just going to maintain what we've got and just move on? I think with the soccer question, one thing we discussed, because I did also meet with our soccer board, and they are not supportive of just flipping it to Chisholm. Even though I explained, I hate to be in a position next year if say, the worst comes and we don't pass a referendum and we are in a huge deficit again, and I got people that'll probably look to me and ask, are we cutting the program? I'll fight against that, I think you guys know that, but at the same time, I mean, with the cuts we made this year, it might be something we have to look at. What I told the soccer world was this would show everyone that you're willing to play ball and cut costs. So that was my intention behind that whole conversation. Swimming's a different, I know it gets lumped in, it's a different conversation because their numbers are a little low for some of their swimmers. We thought maybe we could co-op with them and make both programs a little stronger. But again, it's got to be the board level decision, I believe. I mean, Travis and I can sit down and come up with all these ideas, but we need the support. So until I think
superintendents and athletic directors sit down and come up with a page, just what we're want to see or do, because everybody's up in left field, right field.
Well, I think they've got bigger fish right now with that whole superintendent search, and I don't think they have an administrator on staff right now in their district, so it's kind of a unique situation. So maybe we do pause everything. I don't.
Director Kim?
I just have a few thoughts, and I'll just say them. And I appreciate the conversation. And in watching that, let me back up. In having the multiple collaborative meetings that we have had, at least over the last 8 years.
10.
10. Okay. I feel like the last meeting that we had, the group that we had when we were in Chisholm and met at Valentini's, Gary, you might have been there too. I walked away from that meeting feeling really positive. And I don't even know that we talked about athletics because, my opinion, strictly my opinion, we need to step back. I'm not sure starting with athletics is the right place, right? Like, I feel as though we have to have kids in mind, all kids, their education, their future. Where are we going? What are we doing? How are we going to continue to provide education over the next X years? And I have a couple of thoughts. Like, I think we as boards, full boards, need to get together, maybe administrators, maybe some community members, maybe pulling out that community survey and talk about it. And I think unless we're ready to get serious about education in this part of the Iron Range, it's costly for both districts. And I don't know, what's that gonna look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? So I think while I appreciate the short-term singular focus, or kind of singular athletic, I mean, we
Well,
said,
we have to start someplace.
they don't have a superintendent, they don't have principals. I feel like we can't go to them and say, hey, like, let's talk. But I know we've always been willing to help. And my second comment, watching their meeting about soccer, I honestly don't believe that they understood that the total cost of the program would be less. Hibbing, I want to make it perfectly clear again, Hibbing would pay their pro rata share, which would probably be 7/8 of the cost. It's just the total pie would be smaller. So I don't know, but that's just kind of, where are we going with education in the central part of the Iron Range? That's all. I mean, you know, I think if I added right, Chisholm, Hibbing, and Nashwauk had 233 graduates. They had 43, they had 38, and I think we had 152 if my math adds up.
Right.
So where are we going?
But right now, this is all that we're asking for. We've got to get through this in the first place, but you're right with the education report, because that many people graduating. Our class was like 400 and so.
And I might add, in the MSBA legislative update, the only new funding was for consolidation.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means, but I'm just putting it out there, and I would like to see, before we make any decisions, we have a special meeting scheduled for June 30th.
Yes.
I think it's important that Director Polcher and Director Egan have an opportunity to be a part of the conversation.
But if you and Baki and Rick want to, like I said, put up a list or something, so we know what, we're going in every direction. We need some, to go
Yeah,
forward.
and just to add on to Kim, Travis and I had that talk, and it wasn't the immediate, I think that's where this gets lost. This isn't, we didn't try to, snowball this into, let's start
No, I know
it.
that, I know that.
He made the same comment, in 5 to 10 years, do they have standalone, do they have the numbers in 5 to 10 years to have standalone athletic teams? You're talking about a mountain to climb, and I respect that. This angle is, is a little easier to address, but I respect whatever the direction you guys give.
When you start out small, it makes the bigger decision that you're talking about a lot easier, because they're gonna, if you are able to work together kindly, nicely, and actually collaborate, and not, hey, it's gonna be all us or nothing, or we can collaborate, but it's still you're gonna do it our way, they're not gonna want to do the big things. I mean, so I think this at least shows that you're willing and able to work together, to compromise, to give and take, because right now, that's not the perception that Hibbing has.
That's a shame, because
Yeah,
we've
so
provided so many services to them since I've been here, and we have given for years, the business services, the other, that's frustrating if they feel that way. And that's where these relationships are, right? I mean, there's a lot of telephone being played, there's people whispering here, whispering there, and
But that's why we gotta try to mend that. So getting together is not a bad, negative thing. We shouldn't,
right.
Be standoffish about it. I mean, we should really welcome it. I mean,
It should be
again,
how we can do it, not, yeah.
And we've had collaborative services. I mean, hockey's been collaborative since early 2000s.
Since Chisholm dropped their program.
Since Chisholm dropped their program.
And I
I
think
mean,
soccer's been the same, almost
Soccer's
since the
been the
inception
same
of
way.
soccer.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, and there's probably other programs, and I'm just not thinking about what they are. So we've been doing this forever. And it seems like it always becomes a big issue when we're asking for something, right? Then it becomes a big issue.
but look how badly we spoke about Chisholm and even Nashwauk when they got their new schools. How many times did we bring that up in our board meetings? And we just put them down because, well, they're not being fiscally responsible, they're getting new schools. Why are we as Hibbing worried about that, making a public comment on that? And then now we're saying this, like, we shouldn't be talking badly about those other schools when eventually we will want to partner with them. We do want to collaborate. We want to have a good relationship with them. Well, when we talk bad about them in our board meetings, that's not gonna happen. And we've done that.
The voters approved it, so that's.
So
yeah,
we shouldn't have a problem with it.
Exactly.
Well, we were all in a room with Nashwauk people. Big room, facilitated by somebody from the IRRB. And we were all moving forward, and it was a Nashwauk school board member that stood up and said, we're done. We just want a new school. I mean, like, that's a fact.
But that's okay if they want a new school. They got a new school, but then we sit here and we bad talk them about getting their new school. Why should we care? We shouldn't care that they got a new school.
No.
Let them do that. We shouldn't.
We should care about our soccer program and our education that we provide, what we can afford to provide.
Which we know that we can't afford. That's why we're looking to collaborate with Chisholm.
Well, we'll keep
I don't
this on
think what
that
we get from
agenda.
Chisholm makes a difference. Quite
All I'm
honestly,
just saying
in
is
cost.
we shouldn't bad talk other districts when eventually we want to collaborate with them. And we want to change our perception in the community, in their communities. Because we won't want them talking bad about us.
No, we gotta help where we can. It's all about education. And people are looking, oh, we can get more money from the state if we get people to come over, but then you close down the school, that's not good either.
No.
It's a balancing act, and well, we'll keep this on the agenda for.
Well, again, I think their superintendent posting closes on the 30th. So, I mean, they probably won't have somebody in place really ready to go until like August 1st, I would guess. And that person would be a big part of this conversation too, I think, so.
We'll play by your effort timeline.
Okay.
It's,
Sounds good, sounds good.
okay, it's 4:37, without objection, the meeting's adjourned. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. It's good discussion.
Hibbing Public Access TV may be viewed on these platforms: hpat.org with video on demand, Mediacom Hibbing 802, 805, and 807. On Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Download the Hibbing Public Access TV app for your iPhone and Android devices. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo. For more information, scan the QR code and go to hpat.org. Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank Mediacom for all the years they have supported our organization. Visit their office at 3105 East Beltline, Suite number 2 here in Hibbing, and give them a call at 855-633-4226. For over 25 years, U.S. Bank, located at 211 East Howard Street in Hibbing, Minnesota, has provided office and studio space for Hibbing Public Access Television. We are thankful for their ongoing support.